Episode 70,
where
the
you,
platinum episode.
where are you mentioning this in Slack? I mean, you mentioned it to me, but
In the
where
Lair
else are you
chat,
mentioning
in the
it?
Lair chat Slack, of course.
No, privately in 10:06.
Oh, 10:06, we are off air. Oh.
15 minutes ago.
Because I just asked you a question. You know what I thought that was saying? I thought you fat fingered that, and you were saying when we're off air. I thought that's what you were saying. When we're off air. I'm like, no, that's why I'm asking you in Slack. Do you want to talk about this now or not?
I'm glad you guys are dedicated this much to giving me a funny intro to yours.
Why do you keep saying when we're off air? We're always off air. We talk about it. I know that. Oh, man.
Thomas will get a kick out of this after the show. He knows what we're talking about. He just doesn't know that he knows.
I'm sure I know.
Okay, now he's...
All right.
So that was Laricon.
That was Laricon.
Before and after for me were before and after for me were great. Beforehand, my kid turned 1, so had my dad and stepmom from upstate New York come down. My wife's parents flew in. Great friends flew in from San Diego. Great friends drove in from Long Island. The great
Nobody
friend
from Colorado, John?
I invited him. He said no.
No? No, it's not like that much.
No, it's too late. I knew the seats were going to be too small.
No, so Eric joined me for my kids. It wasn't really a birthday party. We went out to a nice lunch.
Well, he's one. You don't need a birthday party for one.
No, but it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened. So Eric joined us. We went to this diner where they were singing songs, and the kids all had a blast. So did Eric. Eric was dancing around.
I was going to steal your kid, man. I was ready to take your kid and take a nap. Kid was liking me.
So, yeah, your kids are cute. I got teenagers now. They're full on into it. Jesus. It is. I can't even get into teenagers because it's every joke that's ever been made by a comedian ever. They are exactly what society says teenagers are. Drives me crazy. But
all right, so before we wrap up with Laricon, let me just say it was fantastic meeting people there. I got to meet so many people that I've talked to over the last year. It was awesome. I mean, people were just like coming, like what's the guy's name? Ryan Thompson, the guy who does Pyro friend of the show, Ryan Thompson. We interviewed him on Lara Chat. He's the guy who's doing Pyro CMS now. He's the guy who ported it over to Laravel. I wasn't there 5 minutes. Guy walks up to me. Hey, dude, good to see you. I'm like, holy crap, dude. And it was like this dude moment, you know. But I had people come up to me. I mean, people who say they listen to this show, which was weird. But a guy came up, Nuno. I'm going with Nuno. N-U-N-O or something. Yeah. He came up and he specifically said, dude, I listened to PHP Ugly. We hooked him up with some pins and some stickers. I ran out of LaraChat stickers. I didn't bring enough those. And I actually probably gave out more PHP Ugly stickers at Laricon than I did at PHP Tech. Dude, stop beating my cat. But met a kid there, Dominic. Kid must have been... Were you with me when Dominic approached me, John?
Yeah.
Yep. He walked up to... What do you think he was, like 13, 14 years old? Younger?
All around there. Yeah, you said you met him last year, right?
No, I hadn't met him before. No. But, yeah, this 13, 14-year-old kid who... he was at Laricon last year. I remember people talking about him. walked up to me. I guess he listens to one of the shows, Lair Chat or PHP Ugly. He's been coming to LairCon for a couple years now. What was it guy's name? Jonathan Wheat, I think is his name, walks up to me, and he's one of those guys I on Twitter all the time. You know, he tweets at me a lot on Twitter, and he just walked. And it was funny. Like, as soon as I saw his face, I knew exactly who the guy was. Okay, I didn't know his name, but I knew his Twitter handle. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I know you from Twitter, man. And then I got to meet like all these people we've hosted Lair Chat with. Danny, who actually lives in New York. Al, who's another regular on Lair Chat Live. Of course, I got to meet Sean. I got to meet Matt. There were just so many people. TJ Miller was there. We had him on. He's the big Docker guy. I got
not the one from the Emoji Movie.
No, that would have been awesome, wouldn't it? I got to meet Freak, who has the business Spatty. Spatty? How do you pronounce that? S-P-A-T-I-E.
Yeah, right.
Spatty.
Yeah.
He does a ton of open source stuff, and he's actually one of the things I was trying to pattern some of the Diego dev stuff off of, the way he was doing a bunch of open source packages for Laravel. But got to meet him. He was super friendly. He was all buddy. Got to meet Bo, who does that podcast. That's another really good one. I mean, there was just so many people, and they were all so approachable. Of course, Taylor. We sat next to Jeffrey Way, which was fun. Jeffrey Way actually joked around with us a little bit.
Did you sit next to Jeffrey Way while you could see Taylor? Could you see them both at the same time?
Could not. That would be a big negative there, Thomas.
I mean, that's still. You gotta be more gentle with that glass of whiskey there. You keep slamming it up.
It's empty. It's
empty.
Then
you gotta.
That's why you get slammed. Damn it! I drink this stuff.
There's a lot of fun talking to Jeffrey. He just moved to Florida, not far from where I lived there. Has kids around my kid's age, so nice little connection there. Got to chat for a while.
There was some big actual news at LaraCon. Taylor introduced Laravel Horizon.
I wouldn't say it was big news, but yeah,
there was some small news
teasing it.
Yeah, I guess he made it big news by just teasing it forever.
Yeah, I mean, Laravel Horizon is, again, you know, if you work a lot with queues, it's going to be beneficial to have. It's definitely a nice to have, but it's not a game changer. It's not like, oh my God, this is awesome. And for the people who don't use queues in their application, it's a non-event.
I can actually say I'm in a use case for this where it is a bit of a game changer.
I don't know about game changer. We're in a use case of it where we wish we had it a couple weeks ago because we were having problems with queues. It would have been nice to monitor it, but how is it a game changer even if you're a big queue person?
Because if you are a big queue person, you get metrics out of jobs being executed that you normally could never get. Things like execution time per job. You can flag certain lengths of time as meaning long running, so you can get notifications about long running jobs. Queues are one of those things that operate very blindly. A customer never sees it, and an administrator never sees it. They just run on the server. So this gives you an insight into something that normally you had no insight into. You could do a top on your machine and see which processes were running long or which processes were eating RAM or CPU or whatever. But with Horizon, you can actually see which job is taking too long, why it's taking too long. You can get data out of the job. I
don't know if you get data out of the job.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
It has full access to the job.
I'm looking forward to using it. I mean, like I said, we were in a situation about a couple weeks ago where we really could have used this. It was, and we actually wrote some clunky scripts around just monitoring our job queue to make sure the queue wasn't getting hung up. So it's going to be nice to have, and I think there is a niche group that's going to be happy to have it, but it's not like Passport or even
Cashier.
What's the other one, the paid one? Spark. It's not like Passport or Spark or any of those that were like, oh, I can actually do something now, and it's just it's a nice to have. It's
now here's the caveat though. As much as it would be a great thing and a game changer for me, we're totally unable to use it.
Why? Don't say the driver.
No. First off, it took me about 6 hours to get it configured in a way where I could monitor what it was I was intending to monitor before I realized that Horizon itself is running the jobs. It's running what used to be queue workers. And so you can only have one server running your jobs.
What?
The server that is...
It doesn't just tie into the queue to monitor it?
It does not. It is actually executing the job workers.
That's how it's getting its metrics. Huh?
Correct. So it's M timing and var dumping jobs as they're executed by it. You cannot run it as a standalone monitor and have job servers report to it. So, as cool as it is, has zero application in an environment where you have multiple servers running jobs. Now it can connect to multiple Redis servers, but multiple Redis servers is completely besides the point. Load balancing Redis servers is on its own thing. It already does that. Redis is built to load balance. When you want to load balance your job workers, Horizon is unfortunately right now not the solution. Although it is still in beta, but having spent the time on it, basically a day and a half, getting it up and running and reviewing it, it's not going to provide anything for our environment because we run email queue handlers on one server and image processing handlers on another and user subscription processing on a third, and Horizon just can't.
I'm curious. Did you read the Medium article on Horizon?
No, I didn't know that. Oh, yes. No, that's the one I read when he announced it. Yeah.
Did you notice there's a phone number in there? I wonder if it's his.
There's a phone number in here?
Go down to.
Oh God!
Is that what was being tweeted out the other day? So somebody took offense to a phone number being included in a talk.
It's still up there. I can still see it.
Area code. What was it? 203. Is that it?
203.
I wonder if that's Arkansas. Let me see real fast. If that's Arkansas, that's where he's at. Area code 203 is North America, Connecticut. Nope, that's not. I mean, it could still be his, but I know he's in Arkansas. So I don't know. Maybe that's just a temporary.
So Horizon's cool. Really like the idea. Wish I could implement it, but I cannot in any way.
Yep.
Oh, you know what that phone number is probably a Twilio number. It's notifying you that there's something going on.
But still, I mean, that's my thing is that in all the announcements, in the Medium article, in all the coverage I've seen, it doesn't say Horizon replaces your queue workers. It just says Horizon monitors your queue workers, which that it does not do. It executes and manages queue workers on one server.
Yeah.
And
I need to look into it because I really want this. I mean that might not necessarily be a no-go for us. I've got to look at the implementation, but yeah.
Also, it has to be installed on the project that it's monitoring.
and it's running on Laravel 5.5, which requires
5.5.
PHP 7.
Nope. He corrected himself. 5.4. He wrote it in 5.4.
Really?
Oh,
yeah. So when he made the announcement, he said it was 5.5, and I think it was the next day, he said he went back and looked and realized he wrote it on 5.4.
That Medium article still says 5.5.
Yeah.
Does it?
He said it should be doable in 5.4.
I'm looking at Composer JSON. Composer JSON says it doesn't say. It does say PHP 7.1 actually is what it says.
So
yep, I don't know.
I was excited to see the JetBrains Developer Ecosystem Survey. Did you guys look at this?
Is that still so? Man, that's from a while. I figured you guys would have talked about that already.
I put it up in our general Slack, I think, and I meant to put it on the show notes for the last episode and completely forgot.
Well, I did it for you. Here's something really surprising. In the JetBrains Developer Ecosystem Survey, the most popular IDE was the JetBrains IDE.
No way.
What?
That's right.
That can't be right. That seems craziness. Okay, but if I remember correctly, I'm trying to find it. Actually, this looks different than what I saw. Maybe I was looking at something different.
I think so. This is newer.
Yeah, because this is not what. Because the one I was looking at talked about how. Wait, maybe it was Fun Facts. Let me see. Let me find it here. Where do you see the IDE reference?
It's like right. It's kind of right there at the top.
The first thing.
Well, which version of PHP, which frameworks, and then which editor?
Oh, you're in PHP specifically.
Well, welcome to PHP Ugly.
Okay. Well, I was looking at here we go. Notepad++ is number 3. Really? Notepad++?
We had a developer that was using that, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me too much. It's got a good plugin system with an active environment.
Surprised the hell out of me.
When you're looking free, it's one of the top on the list. I mean, below that is Vim, and I don't think I know anyone who uses Vim anymore.
Screw you, man. Screw you, man.
Zend Studio at number bottom, whatever number these are. Zend Studio has 2%. That surprises me.
It does, because it's not cheap, right?
Oh wait, I guess that does make sense. Gets more expensive the further down you go. Oh no, it goes from expensive to free, really expensive.
Yeah.
So PHP, as far as primary programming language, PHP ranked number 3, which I'm okay with. Number 1 was Java, which isn't a big surprise. JavaScript was number 2, which is, okay, everybody does JavaScript. Whether you're a PHP developer, a Rails developer, a Python, you probably do JavaScript. So JavaScript was number 2. PHP was number 3. Python 4. Then there's a huge drop-off. Or, well, C# is number, whatever number I was next.
5.
But, yeah, 5.
This really does
pretty.
This looks like a demo page for all the different ways you could graph something.
It really does, right?
Like they never use the same graph type twice.
No, they really don't. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something right now, though. Speaking from practical experience, first thing, if you're a PHP developer today in this day and age, and you're good on any level, you should not be looking for work, because we cannot find really strong PHP developers, and even the not strong PHP developers all seem to be booked. I mean, there's just like the market right now, at least the PHP developer market, man, it seems to be a good space to be in because everybody seems pretty gainfully employed. And the rates that we are getting quote.
If you're not, talk to us. Let's not talk rates.
the rates we're being quoted are just crazy. It's like, and we run a business and we're constantly being told by clients that our rates are too high, but I know they're not, because just going out and talking to developers and finding out what their rates are, it's just crazy. But if you're not going to do PHP development, by God, please do mobile development. There is such a need, and I'm not even talking about native mobile anymore. Get into one of these JavaScript framework mobile development platforms, because that market is just absolutely insane. We have so many clients. Every client we have now wants mobile development done. And it's just this mad rush, and there's just not that much talent out there. If you want to make a living coding, writing code, become a PHP developer primary, become a mobile developer, and I can promise you will never go hungry again.
You might work on some garbage, but you'll never go hungry.
That's true.
So before we get off of this, I just looked at Target Mobile OS, and it has Android at 84%, where iOS is only 58%. That shocks me because so many, especially mobile shops that I've talked to, they always target iOS first, followed by Android. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how much stock I put into these stats, but they're always fun to look at. Demographics. What do we got here? Full-time employed by a company or organization, 67%. Really? Freelancers are only make up 6%? What? Self-employed. So what's the difference between a self-employed and a freelancer? If self-employed is 15%.
A drop-down option.
Maybe if self-employed is you're working on your own project, I guess. Maybe you're not taking money from other people.
I think some freelancers don't consider themselves self-employed. I think that's the only difference.
How many people work for a company or an organization? I don't know how to read this one. 14%, 23%. So I'm looking at demographics, and about halfway down it says,
how many people work for your company?
For your company or organization? Oh, I see. 2 to 10, 14%. Okay, now that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. All right. More than 5,000, 16%. Wow, those are some big companies out there.
15% of people have been working in the industry for less than a year.
That seems crazy.
Well, no, we heard an interesting stat. Actually, maybe we didn't. I was watching some YouTube videos, and the number of developers doubles every, I think he said, 5 years, which means almost at any given time, more than half of the pool of developers have less than 5 years experience.
That's good news for me.
What agile software development framework do you use? 32% say none. 41% say Scrum.
Okay, enough of this one. Next.
Numbers.
All the rest of these cards are mine, so I'm just going to let one of you guys pick a card. Any card.
All right, so that one. I want to hear about this.
I have a problem with.
It makes sense.
I have a problem with the Internet of Things. Things that are smart, but have no. Things that are smart but have no right in being smart. And I saw something that that took one of the oldest technologies I know of that is still in wide use today and added Wi-Fi to it. And it wasn't a smart device even. It was just a Wi-Fi enabled Crockpot.
For the times you want to start your dinner, not at.
Do you understand
when you
how
leave.
a crockpot? Yeah, you understand how a crockpot works? It's meant to be a very slow cook. So
Right.
yeah, why would Wi-Fi enable that?
A cook that is so slow that after it's done cooking, you can just leave it indefinitely and it will remain a cooked thing in a hot bowl.
Not indefinitely. I've actually tried that. It doesn't work.
But I mean, it was. I saw this at Walmart.
I heard that.
Well, that was your first problem.
Those
so dumb.
Wi-Fi crockpots map your plumbing.
Here's the thing, though. When you hook up a heating element capable of cooking to the Wi-Fi, and then it has some kind of security problem, that's a house burning down level of vulnerability. Don't put Wi-Fi in heating elements. Don't.
What's?
He's got a point there. He's got a point.
Give me the scoop on this next card. What's this?
This is brilliant. So,
okay.
No one reads terms and conditions. To the point where it's actually been legally defined that the customer doesn't even have to see the terms and conditions because they wouldn't have read them anyways. So, like when CompUSA receives HP printer cartridges, there is an end user license on the package they receive that the customer agrees to by purchasing it from CompUSA. Some crazy legal dances, whatever. However, someone decided they were going to push this a little extra further. A company that hosts Wi-Fi for different brands like Legoland, which we have in San Diego, Outback Steakhouse, stuff like that. The company's name is Purple, and they changed their terms of service. And they even put a little note that said if you notice the change in their terms of service, you want a reward. One person saw the change in the terms of service. 22,000 people agreed to the terms of service. And the change was small. It simply stated that the person who was using the Wi-Fi at the location was required to execute 1,000 hours of community service, including but not limited to cleaning toilets at festivals, scraping chewing gum off the streets, and quote-unquote manually relieving sewer blockages.
I want to see them enforce it.
That's the question, though. I mean, that's really what they were saying, is that these terms and services, when is it unenforceable? If they were to pick one person, if they knew a specific user and said, all right, we're keeping you to your word, time to do 1,000 hours of community service. It's obvious that they wouldn't be able to enforce this, theoretically. I mean, this year things that I had assumed were obvious have become not obvious, but but the thing is they could go after one person. They could try to force that one person to do 1,000 hours, and then in winning that case, they could go after everybody else. Or they could prove that terms of service are completely non-binding, which means that arbitration clauses in things like Comcast and AT&T contracts are not binding, which means that the whole legal system is upside down and wrong. And they're not the first company to do this. There was another company that gave you free Wi-Fi in exchange for your firstborn child. They called it the Herod clause, which I think is fantastic. So
the what clause?
Herod, king of
Okay.
Judea, who tried to kill Jesus by ordering the death of all the children under the age of 2 in Bethlehem.
Oh.
Okay.
Come on, dude. Basic biblical knowledge. So, yeah, I mean, they basically went out and proved that contracts that have a checkbox at the bottom are just unenforceable. What does that mean now? There's not a whole lot.
All right. Bring it back
You
to
want to go
PHP.
back to PHP?
Back to PHP.
I gave a talk about 7.0 PHP 7 and why it was such a big deal. And the bulk of that talk was because it's faster, like way, way, way faster. Why wouldn't you upgrade? It's way, way, way faster. It's free money. Your servers are going to lighten up. It's faster. And much faster. And so since PHP 7.2 is now officially in beta, people are starting to give it some benchmarks. And PHP 7.2 is faster than 7.1, which was faster than 7.0. So PHP is still speeding up, which is good news for us PHP developers. The faster PHP is, the better the adoption is going to be, and the better the reason for using it.
So you would think. I have stories.
Go on.
Nah, it's not for the air.
Yeah, so it's good to see performance is continuing to improve. PHP 7.2 running PHP Bench is around 13% faster than 7.1, 20% faster than 7.0, and compared to 5.6, it's a 2.6 times difference. Which
Fascinating.
I think, if you guys know any JavaScript, 2.6 times faster is 3 times faster.
Are we sticking with Doom and Gloom, or do you want to go back to Laravel talk?
Oh man, you know the answer. You know the answer to that question, though.
All right, let's go there.
You know I love my Doom and Gloom. Verizon.
Yeah,
Verizon decided that since we were testing net neutrality in the courts lately, they were going to actually run a test on it, and they started throttling Netflix subscribers and YouTube subscribers, and then said it was an accident, and then said it was a test, and yeah, they're starting to shape traffic and not tell their users, which is a current violation of the Title II security of the internet, but nothing's going to happen.
No, we can totally trust them. They're a big company. We can trust them. They have our best intentions in mind. That was weak. Yeah. I was expecting more out of you on that one.
I'm a little.
All right, let's go.
Well, see, this one has an addendum to it.
An addendum?
An addendum to it. You got to read the comments on this one. So there was an interview with Roomba's CFO.
I just read your comment. It's like,
yeah.
Psych.
No, that's what happened. So there was an interview with the CEO of Roomba who said, yeah, the new version of Roomba creates 3D maps of the environment that it surveys, and we can use that information to market to other providers of Internet of Things devices to help map things and do things. And people really locked onto the monetizing of the layout of your house as a bad thing, since that's a bad thing.
Why would they do that?
Yeah. Roomba, which is owned by iRobot, just doing horribly bad, getting crushed in the marketplace by dogs
But don't we already know that iRobot tries to take over the world? Wasn't that what that movie was about?
No, iRobot becomes self-aware and tries to market the shape of your house.
Jeez, I know. It's going to team up with my microwave and give 3D imagery of the inside of my house.
It's an excellent.
I'll just start your Crockpot.
That's right.
To stop your Crockpot from killing your family. It turns out that it's iRobot versus the Crockpots. That's the future we live in.
Those are Terminators.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw Terminator 3, right? iRobot. So a couple days after this story aired, the CEO did another interview, said, No, we're not going to do that. The wording is incorrect. We're totally going to do that. Which is my favorite version of a retraction from a tech executive, which is when they say, no, that's not what I meant, but it is. So far, I have that from Comcast, AT&T, and now I have it from iRobot, which I'm just building a collection of people who say, no, man, you don't get it. We want money.
Oh, man, I'm so happy to be back talking to you guys. My life feels so much more complete now.
Yeah, you get to say, if that's what Tom thinks doom and gloom is, then I'm doing great.
Doing great. Doing great. Life is so good. All right. Okay. Anything else? Anything else that we want to talk about? Because we're right at about an hour.
I've got one more survey for you.
That was a rhetorical question, Thomas. God damn. What is your survey?
What packages do you install on every Laravel application you create?
Oh.
I love this one. I love this question because this is how I discover new tools, is by 100 people saying, I can't believe you're not using this, and me saying, I didn't even know it existed.
The debug stuff would be a big one, yeah. I don't know.
I think the top three, Laravel Debug Bar, IDE Helper, and Laravel Collective HTML, I already do that.
Laravel Collective, that's another thing. Laravel Collective HTML. No mention of the efforts of the Laravel Collective at all in the conference, period. That's all I'm saying about that. Go ahead. Okay, yeah, so those are all good. What else is on here? You can't even read this one. I need to go to the article here.
Intervention image, which I deal with a lot.
You know what? You know what I'm becoming a big fan of is the UUID stuff. Is that on here? Freaking UUIDs, man. Those are my new IDs. I'm done using database IDs. Everything is going to be UUID moving forward.
No, I don't see it on here.
Yeah, you don't, do you? Fractal, that makes sense. Fractal is another big one you probably use a lot.
Fractal
is a good little list, though.
An API thing. I don't use Fractal, actually. I probably should.
What does Fractal give?
So whenever you want to do a transformer of an API call, so you want to return an API, but you want to kind of change what's the wording of what's being returned. Like maybe you don't want F name John return. You want it to return first _ name. Fractal allows you to do that as a standard and helps you with that transformation. So if you write APIs, you use Fractal, probably.
Freak Mers, you were talking about him earlier. Spatty.
The guy's, he's all over the place, man. He's a maniac with his development.
Laravel Backup, Yajira data tables, which I'm so in love with. You guys use that at all? It's just spreadsheeting for reports and layouts, and it's just like inserting a little spreadsheet onto your page. I use it in all my admin tools. It's fantastic.
We're using data tables for a client, actually. I'm not using
it's the best.
Oh, the one we're using is Vue.js based, though.
Right, we're using.
It's probably a fork.
You're a fork.
I thought it was a spoon.
Clockwork, which is another debug bar tool.
That's the
Laravel
actually that's the one I want. So Clockwork I like because that's actually a Chrome. It plugs it. It integrates into your Chrome inspector, and it doesn't give you that that stuff at the bottom like the other one does. I like Clockwork. That's the one I actually prefer. Laravel 5
Deployer.
log health monitor. We use that actually. That's Laravel tail. I'll look at a few of these. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff in here. I mean, this is just just a discovery tool.
Spatty, Laravel tail, Spat. So many of these is that freak man. That dude. That's all he does is write plugins and tools for Laravel.
It's his company. Didn't he say he had like a ton of developers working for him? I forgot the number, but it's a big company. I think he said it was only
like 5. No, I don't think so. I could have been wrong. I could be wrong. I've known to be wrong before, but I don't think it was a big company. I think he only had like 5 or. I seem to recall when he said it, thinking, we got more developers than he has. Why has he got so many more cool things? We need to raise our rates.
Well, and he's in Antwerp.
Or hire better developers.
He's in Finland.
Sorry, guys. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Hurtful.
It was supposed to be.
We got to meet with. So what was cool is we actually got to meet our newest developer. So John and I onboarded a developer a couple of weeks back, and he's been getting up to speed and everything. Got high hopes for the guy. He seems to really be passionate and interested in the work. And then I'm having a conversation with him, and turns out I realize he's going to Laracon. I'm like, dude, this is something that he had planned before we hired him, doing it on his own dime. But I mean, that's where he was in his like development life cycle. He was kind of hungry for this knowledge and kind of going after it. So John and I got to meet him. He lives up in Berkeley, so he's not a local here to San Diego. So we got to meet him in New York. It was cool. Just saying. It's cool things. There were good things that happened out in New York. There were not some great things that happened in New York. Okay.
Don't everyone speak at once. Well, I think you're right. There's only 5 people. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nuts. All right. Anything else?
Let me check now.
Check now?
I'm amazed that you guys let me burn through all my doom and gloom because I've built up a collection over 2 weeks.
The least I can do, and I appreciate you two holding down the fort while I was gone, even though you only did 1 show. It was still 1 show. I'm proud of you too.
Yeah.
I was gonna do a doom and gloom only episode with just me, just covering the doom and gloom news. I got a lot of support for that.
Yeah.
But it turns out that support is not what motivates me. So I apologize to all my doom and gloom fans. I appreciate your support. But
we definitely get a lot of tweets. Lots of tweets. When people come up and talk to me, doom and gloom is usually one of the first couple things they say to me. More doom and gloom. Doom and gloom.
And I have to give credit to you. You named it.
I did name it. Yeah.
You did. There was on a dark Thursday a year ago. You said, "Oh God damn it, more doom and gloom from Tom."
All right. Okay. I think that was good, man. It's nice to be back. And I think we'll get back on our normal schedule next week where we'll go back to recording on Thursdays and life will be good.
Yeah, there's a wave building towards an announcement that we'll have in a week or 2.
That was very good. That was very
I'm going to edit that out.
It could be like Horizon. We could just talk about it for the next year, and then when it kind of, when we actually announce it, it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's like an iPod Shuffle.
Oh, what a slight disappointment.
All right, everybody. I appreciate you tuning back in. Happy to be back on a normal schedule. I'm Eric Van Johnson.
I'm John Congdon.
I'm Tom Rideout.
Keep it ugly.
Woo!
Wee. All right, let me stop my 360.
Did you run out of whiskey? Seriously?
Yeah, no. I did.
How do you